What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to 49ers First Takes. Back with my special guest, my friend, RSF 49ers, Raj, talking 49er news, little roster, little roster reconstruction and 53-man tinkering and practice squad and all that stuff. We got a new wide receiver in the building. We have some injury updates. We're going to get to all of that. Before we do that, Raj, how you doing, man?
It was a busy day. I don't know if you know the meme of Jimmy Butler, where like in the NBA Finals, he carried that team, and he's like slumped over on the side, like he's just like gassed out from carrying that team. That's how I felt today. I was posting oh my gosh, so much news, so much news. I'm tired, but I'm doing good.
I saw something similar, but from wrestling. It's Undertaker versus Bret Hart, and
Hell
the
yeah.
Undertaker sits up constantly.
Yeah.
Bret Hart's beating on him, and he just keeps doing it. You see him sit on the top rope and just go.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, I'm done, dude. I've tried everything. The big news of the day. Let's get right into it. Marquez Valdes-Scantling signed by the San Francisco 49ers. We know what's going on with the wide receiver core. Niners are in a really big pickle right now. The only thing is a sure thing is Ricky Parasol. Everything else is kind of up in the air. So the signing of Scantling, not something I expected personally. I haven't looked at anything the Niners have done lately and recognized any names until today. It was like the first time I recognized a name with the signing. So what's your thoughts on the Scantling move? And then we could talk a little bit about also a little Kendrick Bourne whisper going on as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously this wide receiver department is thin. You hit on that. Right now, Ricky Parcells is wide receiver one. I mean, no disrespect, but that's crazy. Like to say that. I mean, drafted in the first round, he should be good, but it is crazy. Jacob Cowan goes on injured reserve today. Like there's so much going on with these wide receivers that it's like, wow. Like people were begging to get Robbie Chosen on the roster, but he got on the practice squad. So Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he's been on a lot of teams. Like he's kind of, I guess he's hit the rainbow in the NFL. He's been on the Chiefs, he's been on the Seahawks, he's been on the Saints. Now this man's been on the Bills. He's probably done the rainbow of colors of teams. Like that's not necessarily a great thing. He's a veteran. He's on the Packers before. I mean, he was good a couple years back. He's just a veteran. They just need bodies. At this point, the Niners need bodies. DeMarcus Robinson suspended. It's kind of crazy because they're going to give Marcus Valdes-Scantling a one-year deal. I don't know if he's going to even make it through the whole year with this team with the roster shuffling they're going to do. I think they're giving him like $3.5 million. They probably could have got Amari Cooper for maybe $1 million more than give him the incentive. So I don't know, man. Is Marquez Valdes your best option? No, but they also are hoping that Ayuk comes back. Jennings is going to be good to go. So I get it, but the 49ers have two wide receivers from the Chiefs Super Bowl team that beat it. It's like, I guess if you can't beat them, bring them onto your team, right? You got Marquez Valdes-Scantling and then Sky Moore. I mean, I saw yesterday, I posted that he was deciding between the 49ers and Steelers. So that was the news this morning. He came to the Niners and said the Steelers. But, I mean, again, you just need bodies. You need depth because their wide receiver corps is just battered right now. It's crazy. So, I mean, I don't hate the move. I don't love it. It's a move they needed to make because they don't have wide receivers. I would have liked maybe to get someone else, but I know they're being, little frugal right now. They have a lot of dead cap. I think they have the number one dead cap in the
96
NFL.
million.
Yeah, so that's probably part of it. They don't want to be
one of my topics. I was going to ask you, what about that cap hit?
Yeah, they don't want to be paying these guys when they're not on the team anymore. So I understand where they're coming from, but it is, I'm not going to sit here and say that Marquez Valdes-Scantling is going to be this game changer. Last couple of years, I know he's had some issues with drops. People were like not happy about them signing him, but they just need players. So overall, you need some guys. Beggars can't be choosers.
Nope.
Aaron.
I'm at the point right now where if he's an NFL body, I'll take him. And I don't mean just like any NFL body. Like if he's proven himself in the league, at least to a certain degree, then I'm okay with the move. Like he can function in an NFL starting lineup for a couple weeks until we start getting some answers. You know what I mean? Like if you're telling me he's the answer all season because something happens and we don't, Ayuk doesn't come back and Jennings wants to be traded, which is not going to happen. But like, yeah, I'd have a concern. But he's here for essentially some insurance. So
correct.
Give Brock somebody he can throw the ball to, who he knows can actually catch it. Tyreek Owens isn't the guy, so I love him to death. But sorry, dude, not going to happen. But yeah, I'm okay with the move. I'm not, like I said, it's the only move that we made so far in the offseason where I've recognized the name. I haven't recognized any, especially with these defensive line rotations that we needed just to get through the preseason. And I'm just like, who's that guy? There's video.
When I was making all these posts today and yesterday, like sometimes you know the roster, you watch the team, I go to all the trade, like them, but then there's just like certain guys you're like, who, like you like, or they're on the team, but you're like, I forgot we had them. Like, and then for me, posting a picture of like Derek Canteen or like guys like that, William Bradley King, they don't even have a picture of them in a 49er uniform. So it's like, what am I? So I just use an old picture of like on another team. I don't like the aesthetic. For me, I like to have, the guy being a Niner uniform. So I'm posting it and I'm just like, yeah, they don't even, it's bad when they don't even have a Niner uniform. They were just there. They were literally a camp body.
It's funny. It's like when you play Madden and the guy's not recognized.
Yeah.
And it's just a black silhouette. That's when you're like, God dang, who are these people? Yeah. So I'm cool with the move. Like I said, it's a temporary fix to seems like a long-term problem, at least.
Yeah, like you said,
a long-term problem for the short term. Sucks, man. It really sucks.
A guy with a pulse that can play receiver. At this point, that's what
he's actually caught a pass from like an NFL Super Bowl caliber quarterback. So
correct.
And Brock is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. So if you don't agree with that, whatever. But he's my guy. Let's I don't know if you want to we could talk a little bit about the Kendrick Bourne rumor too.
Yeah, let's move on to that, because after this MVS news, like literally 20 minutes later, Kendrick Bourne gets, I guess, released from the Patriots, or they said they were going to release him, then he officially got released. And then a developing story happened where Matt Mayoko basically says the 49ers have high interest in bringing back Kendrick Bourne. Like, he was the locker room tone setter a couple years ago. We all know KB. Do you love him? We love KB. But he also said that the other teams that the 49ers are kind of competing against, or potential suitors for Kendrick Bourne, I got the Commanders, the Vikings. Commanders and the Vikings, along with the 49ers. Those are the three teams trying to get Kendrick Bourne. And according to Mayoko, he says these teams all have executives who were with the 49ers when Bourne was with San Francisco. So, of course, Adam Peters, John Lynch, and I can't remember who was with the Vikings, but he was on the 49ers front office. So it's crazy. KB's going to go back to people that know him, obviously. But what do you think? I'll answer it too, but what do you think? Should the Niners bring back Kendrick Bourne?
I mean, I was never a huge like rah-rah guy for Kendrick Bourne, like talent-wise. I loved his energy, but I mean, I guess he knows the offense.
Yeah,
that would be my only reason to say yes, but I'm not banging down the door for KB. There's a lot of people that agree with me on X that are a lot more, inflammatory about the remarks. Yeah. But to me, he's just, he was never like this big time guy. He was more, like I said, he was like a third down guy, kind of end zone guy.
He was kind of like Juwan Jennings before Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
He was like the versatility. He was that locker room. He was the vibe guy. He was blocker. He was good, but
and stuff got everybody moving.
He got better.
I mean, if they want to sign him, go ahead.
He got better over the years. He did get better over the years, and then he made he got a big contract out of the Patriots. I don't blame him for leaving,
which is crazy.
I know. And then he blew out his knee, and he hasn't been the same since. So that's the other thing. I mean, he's gonna just be a rental. He's there for vibes. They need veterans, Kendrick Bourne's not gonna go out there and get you like a volume amount of catches, but he's just there because again, they need some guys to catch. I think he knows the system, so it's not like he would have to, figure everything out. It would be a seamless transition. I think for the culture, for the beginning of the season, it might be pretty cool to have him back. I'm not going to be mad if we don't get him. I think it would be pretty sweet to get KB. I liked KB. All right. The vibes, the locker room. Hey, and you know what? Beginning of the season, him and Trent Williams could come out with the boombox. And, we've been looking for someone to replace Debo with the boombox. KB, that's the perfect guy, Aaron. That's the perfect guy right there.
There was going to be somebody to come out with Trent Williams for the boombox. It would be KB.
It would be KB.
He's our rental. How do you look at this though? As I'm sure you've touched on this with, I know you touched on roster stuff with Larry the other day.
Yeah.
But how in yourself, how do you see this working out? I mean, like, how the heck are they going to manage bringing in people like for a temporary solution, and then once guys get healthy, say Juwan Jennings is, somehow figures out that his calf boo boo and his contract are all kind of like together, and then of course with Brandon Ayuk, like, man, that's going to be. They were talking about roster gymnastics with the 53-man roster. They're going to have to do that with the wide receiver core if they get two, like mid-season, they get two guys back that are essentially like fresh, ready to go. That would be weird.
Yeah. So as far as the roster goes with quarterbacks, you just better hope that the O-line can keep Brock Purdy healthy. I think if Mac Jones has to come in at any point, I feel confident. I like what I've seen out of him. He could probably win some games. You don't want him to be there every day, but if it gets past them, then we're in some trouble because, like you said, they waived the Carter Bradley and Tanner Mordecai, and then they did sign the new quarterback today, Martinez. So it's like I'm really hoping that Brock Purdy.
He said he was en route. Yeah, Brock needs to not get hurt this year.
Yeah,
we talk about this we talk about this all the time. Like we talked this when me and you were doing our streams daily back when Brock was the team a couple years ago. You always used to talk about like how the Niners they always specialize in playmakers and defensive line, and how offensive line is always back burner. And us 49er fans are always crying about it, especially when, injuries to the quarterback position. And yet again, even with the roster cut downs and all the movement and stuff, not one offensive lineman, not one backup offensive tackle, nothing. It's just like, man, I'm glad that they're fortifying and trying to add things, but it is a little bit off-putting that they just do not seem to care about offensive line.
I know, it's frustrating. That to me is the biggest concern, because you looked at the O-line, and we'll touch upon it a little bit more, but that 53-man roster, they kept a lot of linemen, like 10 offensive linemen, which is a little uncharacteristic, but it's telling me that they're really uncertain about the depth behind the starters. Like, they know the starters are there, but even Ben Barch, right? They have several offensive linemen or interior guards. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy, so they just added a whole bunch. I'm happy for Drew Moss, Connor Colby, those young guys. I think they can be good. They'll probably end up starting, but like, there is uncertainty on that O-line, and they don't really necessarily have a swing tackle. They have they have a couple tackles, but they're not guys that could play either side, or they're versatile, or it's just like, damn, if Trent Williams goes down.
Burford is such a question mark, whatever you want to say, at left tackle. There's no way they would ever ask him to do double duty when he could barely do, backing up. I mean, he did solid in the preseason, but I mean, Raj, if you had to win games down the stretch, are you comfortable if Trent gets hurt? If Spencer Burford is neither am I. And that it's always like 49er fans, people say we're entitled and we're spoiled and we bitch and complain. But one thing 49er fans can universally agree on is offensive line is never priority. And now they have a roster depth chart full of just a bunch of mid to low mid players. So it's like,
they don't.
Look, we're keeping a lot lot, but none of them are like, wow, okay,
they're top heavy. This is what I said last night. They're very top heavy, like George Kittle, CMC, Trent Williams, Brock Purdy. Like, they have some studs, Deommodore Lenoir. But then if they get hurt,
yes,
those depth guys, we don't know. They got a lot of young guys. I'm excited about the young players because last year they did a good job with the draft. I feel like these young guys are going to come ready. Like, we're excited about them, but you never know. They might hit that rookie wall. I got a quick stat here. I know we talked about MVS a few minutes ago, but here's a crazy stat for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He's an MVP magnet. Have you heard about this? He's an MVP magnet. So check it out. Every quarterback to win an MVP award in the last 5 seasons played with Marquez Valdes-Scantling that year. So we got Aaron Rodgers in 2020, Aaron Rodgers in 2021, Patrick Mahomes in 2022. He won the MVP and the Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. Josh Allen was the MVP. Will Brock Purdy be the next MVP because he plays with MVS? That's a crazy. Is Brock Purdy going to keep the stat going, or is he going to blow the chance? There's a 4% chance of winning MVP for Brock Purdy this season. But
it would blow. It would blow the mind of what's his name? I forget what show he's on. He hates Brock Purdy. Nick Wright. His brain would explode if that ever happened.
That's a crazy stat.
Hater.
That's actual crazy. The fact that MVS has been on the MVP's team for the last 5.
That's crazy.
That's a wild stat.
Maybe it is something. I don't know.
Can you imagine? Oh God, I'd love it.
Let's. I know you wanted to jump to the practice squad. We could bring it up, and then we could talk about some additions that were added a little. I mean, I uploaded this from, I think, yesterday or maybe just earlier this morning when we talked about doing a stream. So let's bring up the practice squad here.
Yeah.
We have quarterback Eli Apple, wide receiver Junior Burge, and I wasn't surprised that he got cut by the initial 53 after that gaffe in the preseason. William Bradley King, D-line, Derek Canteen, defensive back, wide receiver Robbie Chosen. He was chosen to be on the practice squad.
I'm happy he made it.
Travis Gibson, I know a lot of people were high on him in the preseason. Niners got a nice little kind of, bargain basement edge player. Jalen Graham, I'm so happy that they kept him. Linebacker. Niners have a deep linebacking core, man, even on practice squad. Drake Nugent, my guy Curtis Robinson. I'm so happy for him in the preseason. Again, another linebacker I think who could fill in nicely for a short-term basis. I think the Niners. You can say what you want about a lot of other positions, but I think the linebacking core on this team is as deep as we have at any position.
Yeah, the linebacking team is so good. Chaz Surratt didn't make the roster. The Seahawks, they signed him to their active roster. I think it's more for some intel because the Seahawks and the Niners play week 1. They're trying to get that Robert Saleh intel.
We already know. Yeah. That's what MVS is too. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because he played with yeah. Woo.
You never know. Malik Turner, wide receiver. Sebastian Valdez, Hulk. A lot of us were pulling for him, including myself. Kind of again, one of those like guys UDFAs that didn't like that were the talk of training camp and stuff. He made the team. Tight end Braden Willis. I have no idea why he made the team. Whatever.
He was better than Jake Tonges. They kept Jake Tonges on the active roster. Actually, Braden Willis deserved to make the 53-man roster. Jake Tonges is besties with George. That's why, dude. I really think that's the case.
One random point that I want to ask you about has nothing to do with this. Why is Trent Taylor on the sidelines?
Because he's best friends with George Kittle. That's just his like hype guy. I don't know. He's not even on the roster.
What is he? That is so weird. He was on the sideline in Niners gear in the preseason.
He was. I think he was like an IR or something, but
he's been on IR for the last like 5 years. And then we have Nick Sakil to round it out. And then we've had some other moves that you were going to bring up that the Niners have added.
Let me go over those. But real quick, Nick Sakil, I was surprised he didn't make the initial roster because I didn't think he should. I thought Drew Moss should have over Nick Sakil, and they did it. They did the thing. So I was very pleasantly surprised. I don't think Nick Sakil should have been there. And I thought roster politics was going to win over that. But Nick Sakil, Brock Purdy's former roommate, makes it to the practice squad. So, I mean, I knew he'd be on his team at some capacity. Travis Gibson should be on that 53. I think he was really nice when he came in. I like him more than Robert Beal, but, Robert Beal, if you don't put him on the team and you make him on the practice squad, it's going to look bad. I think the 49ers have to justify some of their picks sometimes or their players. So Yetur Gross-Matos, right? He's on the roster. This man is like Bigfoot. You never see him out there, but they got to justify the pick. So it's unfortunate. Now
they have to justify their wages and making these horrible picks.
Correct. Yeah. So a couple moves that happened. Evan Anderson, they actually waived him because they signed Jordan Jefferson to their roster, right? He was a guy they claimed from the Jaguars. I was surprised they waived Evan Anderson. He was good. I thought he should make it. I thought at least practice squad. They waived him with the injury designation is what they said. So maybe he was banged up, and that's the unfortunate situation. Because
you injure like a toenail and you're on the Niners like borderline roster, you're getting cut for somebody else. So don't injure your toenail.
Yeah, so they waived Evan Anderson and Corey Kiner from injured reserve with an injury settlement. So maybe they'll be back when everything rounds out. But it is unfortunate for him. I liked him.
What do you know about this Jefferson guy? I was kind of conversating between Sterling Bennett of 49er Access. He even said that he had to do a deep dive on him. Seems like he's more of a run fit guy.
He's a run stuffer. Yeah, I looked at him. I kind of saw some film a little bit earlier. I kind of was trying to figure out a little bit of. He's like a run stuffer. He's from LSU. He's a big dude, big Molly. I also found out, according to Mike Garofalo, that the Bengals were trying to claim him. They actually were trying to get him, but the Niners, because they have the higher priority, they took him over the Bengals. So we won on that. And yeah, he's like a stout run blocker. And
Is
maybe
that because they're waiting for I'm trying to say
Kevin Givens.
Ricky. No, our rookie. There, he was kind of slow coming along the preseason.
Alfred Collins.
Alfred Collins.
Maybe. I think they just wanted to add some, I think because Evan Anderson, if he's really hurt, they needed a guy to take a role from there. But I think they really want to improve that run defense, because last year run defense was wild. Eli Apple was chosen on this roster. That is wild. Eli Apple over Dallas Flowers.
Flowers should have made the team. I don't understand the problem.
Crazy work, Luis. Like that. I was like, what are you doing? He should have made the 53. He doesn't.
Dude, we got Santa Claus pissed. He's pissed.
I know. I love that thing. I love Luis, man. He's always in the chat. He's a cool dude. But Eli Apple, bro. Either you could have put. I mean, I would have even taken Shiloh Sanders over Eli Apple. Let's get out of here.
If I had to pick between Eli Apple and horse excrement to be on the field at the same time, or on the field to play DB, I would take horse excrement over Eli Apple. He's that duty cheese.
He's bad,
sucks.
Bro. But I guess they like him. Whatever.
Look, a name value player. Let's add him. He hasn't been good in ever. But yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. Another move that the Niners made that's not on this list, but they made it. It's according to Vic Tafer. He used to be a Raiders beat writer. Now he's the 49ers beat. I love Vic. He's great. They signed former Raiders running back Sincere McCormick to the practice squad. They didn't get Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson went to the Dolphins practice squad.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, I know. He went from the Dolphins to the Niners, back to the Dolphins. Weird. But they got this guy, Sincere McCormick. I really like this guy. They thought he was going to be Genty's like premier backup, like primary backup. This guy's good. He can run. He's got some moves to him. So I like this. He's younger than Jeff Wilson. I kind of like this move. I wanted Jeff Wilson on the roster.
I'm a Jeff Wilson guy, man. I don't understand this move at all. But they weren't going to keep Wilson on the 53, so I understand.
No. But it's wild. He goes back to Miami after coming back. Roster shut. He just went back and forth to the two teams he was on. So
my brother, because he's a Dolphins fan, I was like, "You won't believe who's signing back with the Dolphins." And he looks at me and he goes, and I'm like, "Jeff Wilson Jr." Yeah. And he's just like, "Why?" I'm like,
"Crazy."
I don't know. We're like each other's farm teams.
Yeah,
here, we'll keep them warm for you, and then you can retrade for them in week 11 when we have another an injury filled running back room like we always do. We'll get him back. Like it's just like, what? The Niners can never have enough running backs, Raj, ever.
They need him. That's why I'm glad they got this Sincere McCormick, because he's fresh legs, he's younger. You want guys that could probably step in if needed, and I'm sure we're going to need it because the Niners do go through running backs like crazy. And Isaac Guerrendo, I love him, but come on, man, that guy's injury prone. We need some guys. We need guys that stay healthy.
I swear, some of these guys are like in witness protection program. You don't see them for a really long time, then all of a sudden, hey, look, they're back on the depth chart. It's like, wait, where?
Wild. Couple things. So there was one more player that they signed to the practice squad today. I think I mentioned earlier, is the quarterback, former Jets quarterback, Adrian Martinez. Yep. So he's your QB3. You got Brock and you got Mac Jones. Now we figured out who QB3 is, Adrian Martinez, because they waived the Nepo baby, Carter Bradley, which I was actually surprised. I thought he was going to be on the practice squad. And then Tanner Mordecai, that man did a lot of somersaults this offseason with the team.
Niners are. I've never seen a team that uses their roster like it's. I've never seen it before. Like the way the Niners manage their roster, especially when they have injuries and in the preseason, is just, man, talk about a cutthroat business, bro.
Yeah, it's like back and forth. Cut them, bring them back. Cut them, bring them back. Cut them, bring them back. Cut them.
We don't want you anymore. Hell, just kidding. We do need you.
We need you. Yeah, I guess.
Just kidding again. We don't want you. Like, dude. Hey, you know what? Maybe these guys. You have to think, Raj. The minimum they make is pretty damn good to the normal person. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if somebody tells you they're going to cut you a $250,000 to $450,000 check to be on a team for maybe the next 4 weeks for training camp, I'm going to sign the money.
I'm going to do it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like money. It's not lifelong money, but like for someone like myself, if somebody offered me $250 to $450K for like 4 weeks of work.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Sure. You can, do what you got to do. Stay on your feet for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, find another job, and you're like that money will hold you over for at least maybe a year or so.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So
If you live
it's
in
good, man.
California or New York,
Yeah,
especially
you go to New York or California, that'll last you maybe 3 months, but you
6
go
months,
anywhere else,
right?
yeah, you go
That
anywhere
is
else, you'd be
crazy.
good, maybe a year. So, a couple other moves here that I want to get to. So they brought back the punter, Thomas Morstead. He told us to relax when they left him off the initial 53-man roster. I was like, what are you doing? No punter? But they will be punting the ball this season if they need to. Thomas Morstead's back. They had, you know what they had to do? They had to put Jacob Cowing on the injured reserve list to make room for him. Like this guy, Jacob Cowing, man, I don't know if he's going to really have an impact. I feel bad for the guy, but that hamstring injury is bad. If they're putting you on the injured reserve to bring back the punter, it's not a good look. And then they're bringing back, they plan on signing Russell Gage back to the 53-man roster. They got to make a move for it to be official, but they need him. He's good. You know, they got thin wide receiver corps, but yeah, Russell Gage will be back. But Jacob Cowing, man, what's your take on Jacob Cowing?
Another one of those miraculous Kyle Shanahan draft picks that nobody makes any sense out of, or we can't make any sense. We've done it with Dante Pettis. Some people, to an extent, will say that it happened with Ricky Pearsall, but he's definitely changing that narrative. But yeah, I don't understand the move either. I don't understand the Kyle Shanahan's thought process when he drafts these guys. But yeah, he's a head scratcher for sure. I just don't understand the thought process with Kyle. Kyle should not have any draft privileges when it comes to drafting wide receivers past the first round. I just think I don't know what he's looking for. Yeah, I don't have much to say about Jacob Cowing. He's been injured most of his career that he's been with the 49ers. Kind of like, some other players, but
Pettis, Jalen Hurd, Danny Gray, they just can't stay healthy, man. Wide receivers that the Niners take, other than Deebo Samuel, and I hope Ricky Pearsall continues to play the way he's looking. It's just not good, man.
Hope Watkins isn't the same thing. You know what, man? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because Watkins, but we said that about Danny Gray too, Blooming Cash. Like we saw that one big throw from Trey Lance in the preseason. We're like, oh, we got a speed guy.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing ever again. A lot of people did that with that Nader guy in training camp, who literally, as soon as the pad came on, disappeared.
He disappeared. Yeah. It was, my God, he got a catch. Because you know what Danny Gray did it in training camp? I remember joint practices. I want to say it was with the Vikings. Yes, it was joint practice with the Vikings. And I mean, deep sideline. I remember I was like, oh, man, Danny Gray. And then he does it in the game. And I'm like, oh, man, Danny Gray. Get Danny Gray. I think it was a Packers game, right? Preseason game. And I was like, uh-oh. And then he was never the same. Got hurt. He was trying to do punt returns, and he muffed it one day. It was all bad. He got hurt on the muffed punt, I remember. And he just never looked good after that. And now Jacob Cowing, it's just kind of the same route. Dante Pettis, same route. Hamstring issues. Jalen Hurd, he was the preseason. It was like everybody. If Jalen Hurd after that one game against the Cowboys, you would have thought this man was the second coming of Jerry Rice. Everybody's
he broke his body in a preseason game.
Yeah, but everybody, whenever he was coming back, I remember I could hype him up. I remember Jalen. Anytime I post about Jalen Hurd, that post is going viral. Like it was, wow, Jalen Hurd, but he couldn't. His body couldn't take it.
Crazy. The Niners they need to just sign all wide receivers via free agency. No more drafting anybody.
Oh man. So there was some good news. There was some good news today, Larry. Yeah, or Aaron. There was some good news.
Yeah, I wish.
I'm always talking to Larry here, but there was some good news today. We've been talking about some bad injuries and this and that. So Upton Stout came back to practice. That's huge. Jordan James came back to practice today. That's huge. The two rookies were back in practice. And then there was two really good updates regarding some players for week one. Dominic Pooney, he's trending towards playing week one. And so is Yetur Gross-Matos. Yetur Gross-Matos, again, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. But Dominic Pooney, that is good stuff. Ben
Barch looks like he could be aiming towards week one, or do you think you were going to see Connor Kobe?
I mean, Dominic or Ben Barch will play. He'll play. But here's the thing. he's going to play, and then he's going to get hurt. I hate to throw it out there.
It is.
Ben Bush
It's
has
true.
not proven that he can stay healthy. So I do think, Aaron, that Connor Colby eventually will be our starting left guard. My prediction last night to Larry was by the end of the season, Connor Colby will be your starting left guard.
I want to transition to the Juwan Jennings contract.
Let's do it.
I want to play the John Lynch soundbite because it's pretty telling.
This is big.
It's pretty telling where they are with this. I personally think it's kind of a 50-50 split. But John Lynch, body language, kind of the shifting of his butt on the chair, kind of figured he wasn't super comfortable talking about KB. It sounded like he took a stand, especially with the trade rumor stuff. So here's the Jennings clip.
Is it worse than you originally had thought it was going to be?
Yeah, but I also, calves can take a long time. That's one thing with that injury. Played with guys who they can take a while. So.
John, I'm sure you may be aware that there's been some conjecture that there's more than just a calf going on, given his desire for a new contract and everything. Are you convinced when he is healthy that he'll be ready to play?
Well, there's a lot that goes into that, Eric. Ideally, everybody has a training camp. Everyone's out there. That's a perfect world. But, he's been putting in work to the side, and we'll have to make that judgment when the time comes. The other thing is both things can be true. He wants a new contract and he's got a hurt calf. So I think people want to assume one or the other. Both things can be true.
When you make your decisions on the wide receiver position specifically, do you have to do it assuming you might not have Juwan for the first few weeks?
I think we make every decision on this roster with so many things in consideration. So, yes, of course.
Has he asked to be traded?
A while ago he did, but that was a long time ago, and we've moved on from that.
That was during camp, or was it before?
I'm not getting into when it was, but it was a while ago.
John don't seem too happy about this situation, man.
He does not. That was a while ago.
You never see him like that.
No, he was pressed.
Well, because the thing that I've been hearing, and you tweet a lot, because you have your brand, RSF 49ers, you're always breaking news. One of the things, I don't know if it was you, it could have been like you and like 6 other people, is that the Niners didn't appreciate because they just did his contract last year.
That was mine. Yeah, it's Tim Kawakami wrote that article, and
it's not a priority for them this offseason to restructure him. So and they've been pushed into making some bad decisions recently, especially with the the re-signing of or the extension of Brandon Ayuk and how that turned out.
Yeah,
seems like there's a lot of frustration. To me, I think he's hurt, but I think he's not hurt to the extent that if his contract all of a sudden got fixed, that his calf would probably suddenly be, I would say, at 85 to 90%, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't see it being a big of a problem as they make it out to be. I think it's more to do with the contract.
I agree. And I've said this all along. I said, well, maybe initially I didn't. I was like, okay, it's the injury. Because he was out there, he had his physical, he was in training camp the first few days and he looked great. And then boom, the calf flare up. And he hadn't got paid yet. I said, hey, if you drop some millions on that calf, it's going to be feeling like you rub it on that calf, it'll feel good. But this is what Tim Kawakami had wrote about. This is what you're referencing. It says, Juwan Jennings' lingering calf injury and contract stalemate could possibly get him placed on the injury reserve. But obviously he didn't. It says there's growing frustration on both sides as Jennings continues to miss practice with the calf injury and 49ers management continues to show little interest in restructuring his contract and giving him a big pay raise for the second time in a little over a year. So, yeah, they're like, hey, dude, we paid you. What is the deal? We already paid you. Like, I get it, but we don't have you as a priority. We got dead cap. We got this. We got that. Like, it's just not something we need to do right now. And then yesterday, when they were doing roster cuts, this news, I mean, Tim Kawakami tweeted again. So I posted this news. Let me find it. Sorry, let me go back. I have like millions of tweets these last couple days. Okay. Tim Kawakami says, it sounds like there's still no resolution to the 49ers Juwan Jennings situation. I don't think that either side has ruled out anything. I don't think that either side is happy. And then obviously, if you looked at the body language of John Lynch today, He wasn't happy. The energy was so bad. He was like pissed. Like, I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to. He just was tired of dealing with this. I feel like he's like, look, man, Juwan's supposed to be a different guy. He's supposed to be like that clubhouse rah-rah guy like KB was, right? And now he's pulling what Brandon Ayuk does. We got a week before the season starts, pretty much, week and some change. And you're going to give us this whole situation where you're not – I don't even know if he's – like he said, I don't know if he's going to play. It's he's unsure. That's what he said today. He's unsure. They're still contract. They don't want to trade him. I think the biggest thing of that today, because I made it like a breaking news post on my Instagram, and people are like, that's not breaking news. But it was basically him saying, yeah, we did try to trade him a while ago, but we're not.
Kyle denied that early on, though. Remember that?
That's right. That's why, to me, it was big, because they actually confirmed that, yes, the trade was true. They asked for a trade, but it's off the table. The fact that he said that, to me, it's John Lynch saying, hey, look, we put our foot down. We're not trading him. We're shutting down the trade. Like, it's done. We're not. There's no more trade. Like that.
Yeah. The question was, what do you get? What would you pay him? Nothing. He got paid last year.
That's right.
He had one really stellar year in the National Football League.
Correct. Before you were a third down receiver, which you did a great job, but
healthy, you're number 3. Healthy, this team healthy, you're number 3, and depending what Demarcus Robinson does, you could be number 4.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hate to be that way because he was such a killer for us last year. But like, right now, you go into the season right now, everybody's healthy. You have Ayuk's 1, he's your X, and you got number 2. You have Ricky Pearsall. That's why they got rid of Debo, because Ricky Pearsall, they're expecting them to take another step. All of a sudden, Demarcus Robinson gets signed. We see in the preseason, it's like, wow, he looks like he might be the 4th. If they didn't have, I'm telling you right now, if they didn't have the Demarcus Robinson suspension, I wouldn't say they would trade him, but like, you want to sit out, you want to get fined by, like they wouldn't budge. The fact that it's kind of like a 50-50 thing right now, and they would love to get something done, but at the same time, they really just want him to play through the money that he has. If they're healthy right now, this isn't even a discussion. Yeah. And who knows what Watkins could turn into? Then he could really become expendable. So
yeah,
he's lucky that they're in that situation that they're in right now.
And I get it. He's taking the advantage. He's using this as leverage because the wide receivers are in a crappy situation. Maybe it's his agent. Could be his agent, but it is frustrating, man. The fact that you got paid last year and now you want more money. And we talked about this many times this offseason. It's like, hey, dude, you can't set the precedent, because if they pay Juwan Jennings and they crack and they budge and they pay him,
everybody's going to start shutting.
Yeah, it's going to be this. It doesn't matter. We don't have to honor your contract. It's like a contract doesn't mean anything. And that's what the Niners are saying. Hey, look,
I feel like,
paid you, man.
Yeah, I feel like the Niners, every time they've been forced to do a contract based on a small amount of like for instance, the Jimmy Garoppolo contract ended up being not that great, because it's like for what they paid him and what they expected him to be after like 6 games of work. And same thing with Ayuk, where like I feel like anytime the Niners are pressed into a corner to make to contract, always feel like the Niners lose that contract negotiation. They're always the loser.
Always the loser in that situation. And
the only time they've been winners has been Fred Warner, Bosa, and even Bosa a little questionable, because that kind of took a while. Fred Warner, Bosa. I'm trying to think of another player, maybe Christian McCaffrey. If there's one guy that is
Lenore didn't even, because he didn't even get into like some drama. They already committed to Lenore last year before the season. That's why I remember you saw the reports earlier a couple weeks ago that Charvarius Ward was like, they didn't want to pay me, because they already knew they were going to move and make Lenore their top guy, because he's the younger cornerback.
And Renardo Green played really good last year.
That's why they drafted him. That's what they drafted him.
Expendable, homie. That's just how these guys get caught in their feelings, man. It's a business. If you can trade Joe Montana away from this franchise after winning you 4 Super Bowls, everybody else, Jerry Rice got traded too, guys. Sorry.
I like what Big Brick says. He says he's already making $7.5 million with $3.5 million in incentives that he can earn. A lot of that is incentives. Like, you go ball out, we're paying you more money if you go earn your money, right? And then he says, I would round him up to $8 million and add another $1.5 million of performance incentives. Like, just give him some incentive. Like, hey, you want money? Earn it. Go out there. You give me 10 touchdowns, you can get X amount of millions. Like, that's what they need to do. Don't give him a big extension. Say, we're going to put some performance enhancers in your contract. Go earn it, man, because we already
say they're going to put it in his drink. I was like, performance?
Yeah, well, they can do that too.
I think he might already have that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, don't come to me. I've already given you your salary. I already gave you a raise. Now you want more money. Like, okay, I'm gonna say you're doing this now. You're the manager now. You're wide receiver one now because all these injuries. Prove that you could be wide receiver one. Like you had a good season last year, but if you're a wide receiver one on any other team, would you be able to do what you're able to do? I don't know, man. So prove it to me. Go show me the money. Go show me what you could do and earn it. That's what you got to do, man.
I did see this. He said that Lynch said that the incentives were already earned last year, so he already, unfortunately, earned his
Add some
incentive.
more. What I'm saying, add some more.
Maybe.
Boost.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Just on him for making a dumb contract last year. If you thought you were going to be so good, make more. But again, he didn't know because you're right. He was a third receiver, so he was probably like, I don't know if I could hit those incentives as a third receiver. But then when he became the top receiver and all these injuries are happening, he's like, look what I can do.
I think he played his card thinking that the Niners would cave. The Niners are doing everything to have him. If he can't play, he can't play. Like the fact that they brought in MVS, they could bring in Kendrick Bourne. They kept Russell Gage, Robbie Chosen's. Like, you want to play hardball? We have some bodies that we could throw out there.
Yeah,
if you want to sit
think
there.
They're also preparing themselves for if he's not able to play week one. Well, shit, we need to have people. Okay, you're not going to play Jennings. We got Sky Moore, we got MVS, we got Robbie Chosen, we got Russell Gage. Like, we got guys that we could throw out there. They may not be as good as you in your mind. Like, they might not be, but at the end of the day, at least we have a contingency plan because you need players. We need bodies. And that's what we said at the beginning of the show is, hey, we got insurance policy. They may not be the best, but Juwan Jennings isn't the best. Like, he's good. I love him. But he's a third down receiver.
He's a third down possession receiver with no speed. Like, we're like, you're special, but you're not that special. We love you.
I just hate the drama every year, man. Yeah.
Every year. I wanted to get into I have another video I wanted to play. They were asked about Jake Moody. I ain't a Jake Moody guy. I had another clip I wanted to play, but I don't want to feel like I don't want to play it. I don't know if I lost it or whatever. It was essentially it was Richard Sherman talking about, having to hold your breath every time a guy makes an extra point.
I saw that video. Yeah.
So here is John being asked again, being the master politician that he is. And he loves to spin things. He's good at it. They're asking him how he felt about Moody this preseason. And here's what he had to say.
How do you think Jake Moody did this preseason?
Well, I think it was an excellent competition between him and Joseph. I think Kyle spoke to, we didn't want that competition to end, but anyone who says it wasn't a competition, I don't really agree. I think, the coaches, the special teams coaches are always charting everything. So you see what you see in front of everyone, and then they're doing things to the side. And Jake had a really good, preseason. I found it interesting after, having a hell of a game in Las Vegas that, a lot of people still have questions. And I guess that when you had a season like you did last year, those things are going to be there until you put those, you kind of put that away. And, we got a lot of belief in him and understand that last year was rough, but that happens in guys' careers. Our confidence and belief in him is what we see out here. But I will say everything's earned in this league, and everyone's got to go prove it each and every game, each and every year. And so Jake understands that.
I don't believe Kyle feels the same way.
No, you could tell. You could read his body language. He's like, fuck, I hate this guy. I can't believe I drafted a kicker. Because he even said when he called him on draft day, like, you better be worth it because I drafted you instead of a running back. He goes, I was going to pick a running back, but I picked you. And now we got Jake Moody here, missing. And then they both said, oh, we had a great preseason. Like, they got to give him confidence. They can't say he didn't because you're going to wreck his confidence.
Raj, I have never seen, and I got into a disagreement with my guy, Sterling, who thinks, bagging on him is not right. But I'm sorry. I love Sterling to death, but I'm going to bag on this guy because you shouldn't have to mollycoddle a professional football player and massage his ego and celebrate a preseason game-winning kick. Like, it's professional sports, bro. This isn't Pop Warner. You want him to tell your kid that he's doing good, and you want to give him confidence. And an 8-year-old, every time he misses a kick, it looks like he wants to cry. I can't even, dude. The F word is always at the forefront of my thoughts. want to, like, really, bro? I've told people this a million times. If I was a big time player on this team who busted his ass the whole game, and then the game came down to a kicker missing it, they would have to escort him. They would have to protect him in the locker room because I would destroy him. Like,
You know,
I'd
it's
kill him.
frustrating, man.
It's
Like,
ridiculous.
yeah, it just sucks because they used a high draft pick on him. It's like, man, you really didn't need to do it. You could find kickers that they'll line up for tryouts all day, every day. Like, it's silly. And all the pressure he's had on him since day one, I get it. He has a lot of pressure because he was a third-round kicker, but they did that to themselves. They created the drama. They created the pressure. And then I want to go back to what Lynch said, that there was, the competition that he says, I didn't want it to end, but the injuries, right?
So foolish.
They had to
I'm
get rid of him.
sorry.
They had to get rid of him. But for him to say, oh, he looked great on the competition, I was there. Greg Joseph looked better than him. Like, he missed a few. They both missed a little bit, but Greg Joseph made more kicks than him overall. I was there. I see he's sitting there they were charting it. What do you get? I'm charting it just like the kicker, like the coaches are kicking it. I'd be charting it.
When
All the beat
Bosa
writers-
tells you he's watching a kicking competition, he's saying something without saying something.
Yeah.
This mofo is like, I kill my body. I look like a Greek god. I'm the one guy constantly getting pressure on this team, killing myself for this bitch ass kicker to go out there with his slumped shoulders and his shitty body language. And I hate it. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't usually get to swear or get mad, but like, Jake Moody's got me. If he loses a game for the 49ers, I told a couple people on Twitter, I said, I will not say anything negative about Moody until if he loses a game for the 49ers this year, or he does something that costs the Niners a game or two. I said, I'm going to open up the floodgates on this guy, because everyone's like, man, you're so rough on him. You need to have confidence in him. And, he'll turn it around, do this and that. And I'm just like, they're like, he hasn't lost any games for us yet. What are you talking about? I'm like, really? That's where we're going in?
He puts us in positions where it's like it's a roller coaster sometimes. It's like you got to hold your breath. And then the other thing is, it's like, as I said this earlier, they try to justify their decisions, right? They're trying to justify the fact they used the third-round pick on freaking Jake Moody, man. It's tough.
Why do you think they take so long to get rid of certain players off their roster who they know suck?
Because that's what it is. They're justifying.
They have to justify their pick.
Correct, 100%.
Like Nick Sakiel. Was Nick Sakiel a draft pick?
Yeah, he was a draft pick. They
said he's working. I saw a tweet that said the Niners believe he's working his way to being a starter. He's been in the league 4 years. Working his way? What is he learn how to block?
You know why he was on the roster? You know why he was on the roster? Brock Purdy was his roommate, and
we know weird.
Franchise quarterback. It's roster. A lot of it's roster politics.
It is roster politics.
Yeah, a lot of it is. But then the other thing is they have to justify their decisions, because if they were to cut Jake Moody, people are going to take their credibility and be like, dude, you guys don't know what you're doing. But it's frustrating. Like, there's a lot of positives, but there's a lot of like little irritating things here and there, man.
Your favorite player is my favorite player. He's on your wall. He is so coaching him up and loving him. And I'm like, Kittle, I love you, dude, but cut the crap, dude. He's a grown man. I understand now. I still think it was kind of a bitch move to do. But when Debo laid that punch on freaking our long snapper and was trying to go after Jake Moody, I felt that. Now, if Debo would have actually done some work last year and played well, then I think it would have been more justified. But it came out like a bully.
It came out bad because he had a season with pneumonia and he wasn't great. But imagine he was like a top 10 receiver, and then he goes out there and he takes a swing at him. People would have been like, yeah, that's the top 10 receiver.
If Jerry Rice does the same thing, everybody's cheering him.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like Jerry Rice punched Mike Kofer in the back of the head for missing a kick. Everybody's like, yeah, you got to learn, but because Debo and, Moody, we got to massage his ego because he's sensitive. It looks like he's going to cry. He looks like a kid who got his books dumped in school every single day.
He was, but the thing is, he was not bad when he first came down. I know the ankle injury might have messed him up last year, but I think a lot of it's here. But I'm hoping he does good, because right now he's our kicker. But I do think that his leash is short. I think he's on thin ice. I do think that maybe Greg Joseph's on speed dial, or there might be another guy. But I do think that they're going to have a short leash on Jake Moody.
I want to give you a couple of these like lightning round. Something I haven't asked you because I haven't streamed with you in a while. I wanted to get your take on how you felt about the Brian Robinson trade because I thought it was great. I just wanted it because I know you've streamed with Larry since that. I don't know what his opinion. I think not. I caught something and it was very complimentary of the move. I mean, essentially they have a real number 2 back. They have a legit number 2 back, which is something they haven't had legitimately since really ever. I don't know. What's your feeling on it? Just, quickly.
Real quick, I want to answer Julius's question, and then we'll get to that. So I just looked it up. Okay, there's a couple answers for this question. So the highest drafted kicker in NFL history is Charlie Golgolak, who was selected 6th overall by the Washington Redskins in the 1966 NFL draft. This was prior to the merger of the NFL and AFL. Russell Erxelben was drafted 11th overall in 1979. He was listed as both a kicker and a punter. Oh, dual threat, baby. And then you had Sebastian Janikowski. This is who I thought it was before I looked it up. Sebastian Janikowski was drafted 17th overall in 2000, but Golgolak's 6th overall pick remains highest for a pure kicker, according to most sports news sites. That's crazy. 6th pick in the draft, the kicker.
I thought the Niners were dumb. 6th. Wow.
Imagine with the number 6 pick in the NFL draft, the Washington Redskins select Charlie Golgolak, kicker. Oh my God! Imagine that today.
They need a quarterback. Can he throw the ball too? You imagine if the internet was around in the '60s, bro? Oh my God!
Oh, this shit would have.
Dude would have got his house TP'd. They would have thrown. He would have like poop in bags set on fire, thrown at his house. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! It's fucking
Unbelievable.
To go back to your question, so Brian Robinson, I love this trade, man. That was great. Didn't really give up much. Late round pick. And you got to realize they're going to get comp picks to replace that pick. And, they needed durability in the running room. We talked about it. Grendo, he's a liability. Jordan James is coming back, but he came back from broke figure. Brian Robinson, running back 2, take some pressure off CMC. Let him run the ball. It's a good 1-year rental. I was happy about this trade. Yeah, for sure.
Me too. There was I wanted to play another clip before we get out of here, and then we could touch on the 53-man roster. But essentially, John's talking about the fact that we had 12 draft picks this year, correct?
Yeah, we 12. We kept 11 on the roster.
And we kept 11. John's pretty much telling you, like,
or 10 of 11. No, 10 of 11.
10 of 11. Yeah, because we lost a lot of players, and we had to make up for it via draft. So John just touching on that particular topic.
There is a lot of youth on this team. There's a lot of opportunity, with youth. The expectation, the standard doesn't change, and man, they've got great examples of guys who've done it at a high level in this league. So that's really cool for these guys. But you don't expect for it to go perfectly, and hopefully you've worked through a lot of that during the off season, during training camp. These guys have played preseason games. Because of some injuries in camp, a lot of these guys probably got more reps than they've expected. Now, in the same tune, some of our rookies were hurt for a couple weeks during training camp. So I think a lot of it just remains to be seen. But we're excited about what this group has infused into our team. We're excited about the team in general. Did a lot of talent leave this team last year? Absolutely, but that's the league, and. We made the best of it, and I like where our team's at.
Brought to you by Dignity Health.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, no, they didn't really have a choice roster-wise. I mean, I read that Kawakami article, and he kind of said that the Niners didn't have to go as strict the way they did as far as the roster deconstruction, and they could have, still been somewhat competitive with some free agents this year. But I mean, you listen to that, and it's they were betting on the draft this year to find replacements. Mm-hmm. I mean, according to John and Kyle, I think Kyle, there was a clip of him talking, and he seems really in good spirits about where a lot of these draft classes guys coming in this year, and that they're going to they're going to give some much needed, reps, they're going to contribute. So
Yeah.
We'll see, man. We have it's the perfect year to have I think the schedule that we have. Especially if the talk about Kyle talking about like the defense in the early part of the season might not be like the defense in the later part of the year. Maybe there's some growing pains. So it's if things work out that way this year, and the Niners end up like a wild card team, and their roster, especially their defensive roster, kind of grows into it. That's kind of the best case scenario for me.
Yeah, no, I get it, and they probably could have got maybe another big time free agency or whatnot, free agency. But yeah, like you said, they're going to the youth movement. And this team, they had a great young youth movement last year. They got rid of a lot of people. I think again, they got a very young team. They're going to hit, have some growing pains and stuff, but they believe that these young players can be the next wave. Because again, you got rid of some superstars. Now you need to make some new superstars. That's what they do. They build through the draft, money ball a little bit. They get, cheaper guys. And again, we touched on that dead cap. They had to kind of shed some of that. The best way to do it is just load up on young talent. And if they hit, man, you're great. I just think that at some point they'll hit that rookie wall. Can they push through that rookie wall? Because they're going to rely on a lot of young guys. Michael Williams, you got CJ West, Alfred Collins, Upton Stout, right?
You look at this depth chart, and your top 4 defensive linemen are 3 of the top 4 are rookies: Collins, West, and Michael Williams. That's crazy.
That's crazy. And then you got, you might have had a Gem and Siegel, right? So they have some really good promise to this group. They just have to stay healthy, and they got to persevere. So there's going to be a point where they hit that wall, and you're like, man, okay, they're really dragging right now. These rookies are making mistakes, but they got to be able to push through that.
So is Jair Brown starting across from Marquise Siegel?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be Jason Pinnock and Marquise Siegel. What if Jair Brown's not starting week 1, which I don't think he will? What a fall off, huh?
I mean, he showed last year that he shouldn't have been the starting safety, Jair Brown.
He was the 2nd round pick a couple years back.
In previous year he played amazing, especially in the Super Bowl.
He was their first pick in that draft that year in 2022.
That's crazy. And then you look at our linebacking core. I mean, Nick Martin. I was so wrong about him.
A lot of people
early in. I was like, wow, this guy needs a year. Because, you already, Alfred Collins is kind of behind. In some clips he looks okay. In some clips he's getting moved, 15 yards downfield, 10 yards downfield. But, like, the one that really got to me was, like, wow, he looked so bad in that first game, D. Winters. And then every game got progressively more instinctual and better. And now all of a sudden I'm like, dude, Fred Warner, D. Winters, Nick Martin, Tatum Bethune.
I wasn't worried about Nick Martin. I remember the first week I was like, okay, he was overzealous. He just needs to slow down. He was like unorganized chaos. I said, if you organize that and slow it down, he'll be fine. People are like, no, he sucks. What are you watching? He missed him. I remember I tweeted that. People are like, no, stop being a homer. I was like, he'll be better. Just give him some time. And he says he knows he needs to work on it. Second week, he still missed a few, but he was so much better. He was all over the field. Third week, I'm like, wow. So the amount of improvement he made in a short amount of time, very promising. Is very promising. So again, you also got to realize last year he didn't play a lot of football because he was injured at Oklahoma State.
Of our draft picks, there's a lot of draft picks, and 10 of 11 made it. And
can't get him off the screen. Sorry about that, guys.
It's all good. So like last year, he was injured. He had an MCL injury. So I think he was like eager. He was chomping at the bit. I think he was a little overzealous, and he might have been nervous. It was his first game playing with the team. He was trying to do too much, but it's slow. You can tell the game is slowing down. Once it slows down for especially a linebacker, it's over, baby. He's gonna be good. He's a special.
I think he's gonna be okay. I think keeps playing the way that he is. Maybe he takes over for D. Winters at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, D. Winters definitely earned that spot. But I always feel like certain spots on the team are locked. And then part of me always believes that certain parts of the teams are always fluid. Like the guy is the number one in the depth chart, but like if there's enough play from someone who's better, that they could come along and change that depth chart. But I mean, it's good if he's your number 3 linebacker, especially on base downs. I think you're gonna be okay. Tatum Bethune looked great. Curtis Robinson, what a comeback! I know that's not on that roster. That was on the practice squad, but this Niner teams, man, it's a lot of unknowns on this team this year, Raj. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Week one is I'm nervous, but at the same time, maybe there's a form of excitement because there isn't bad tape on anybody we have, and they're all fresh, and they all haven't played, and who knows, maybe they take like a fish to water with Robert Saleh, and we're like the 2000 whatever 14 or 13 Seahawks defense, where you're like, who are these guys? You know what I mean? So there's always that. I'm usually Mr. Negative, but part of me has almost like some kind of unbridled excitement because we've never seen any of these guys play together. So
Yeah, it's exciting to see it's, oh, we got a new player. It's intriguing. It's intriguing to be like,
it's
ooh,
very intriguing.
what can he do? Oh,
Pretty
up this
much it. That's pretty much it, guys. Raj, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Given the time, it's crazy to get anything locked down these days on this collaboration side of YouTube. But
crazy
you are
time.
a busy dude. You usually can catch Raj on his own channel, guys. You guys know who he is. And of course, he's on with Larry Krueger too. He's all over social media. Instagram is popping. His Twitter is popping.
Yeah.
Got to get him on TikTok, but I don't know. I don't think he cares
No,
about TikTok.
I'm on it. We're getting better. We're getting
But yeah, man, thanks for coming through, man. Everybody in the audience, whoever you are on Twitter, on Rod's channel or mine, appreciate you guys coming through. Everybody take care. Go ahead.
Last one. In the morning, New Jersey's revealed. Finally,
that's right. That's right.
Finally get this. They gaslit us so much.
Here's the thing, though, that really pisses me off about this jersey thing. It's for like week 18.
I know.
Why? What kind of
week 1? They could have done it week 1.
You're gonna release a surprise color rush or something, but we're not going to see it until week 18, and it might be a game depending on if the Niners make the playoffs and they can't change their seating, where you're going to have a bunch of backups on the field with some sweet
Mac Jones.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? How about not coming off the bye week or something?
I know. I mean, I get it because it's like a rivalry, so it's supposed to be all like division games, like the NFC West, AFC, like whatever. AFC East, I think, is the other one. Those are the two divisions that get them, the rivalry jerseys.
I feel like that this was another Diner team in like a Super Bowl year, and they were more confident in the team. I bet you that thing doesn't come out in week 18. I bet you it comes out in week 1.
Week 1, bro. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
They should have they should have showed us a couple weeks ago so we can order, because we still got to order them by the time we get them. We want to wear them in the season if they're pretty cool, and
and if they suck, at least we could say like, oh, we're not going to see them till week 18. So,
but it's a Nike rivalry, so it's like it's on Nike, so their marketing. I think they dropped the ball on it. I don't know. I hope they're cool. They better not be lame looking, but it's going to be subjective. Some people are going to be like, oh, I got some people. No matter what,
like Chicago Bear or Green Bay Packers, didn't they have like the jersey in the '94 season look like a referee's jersey or something?
Yeah.
It's like no one's gonna buy that, but some people did. So take care, everybody. We will see you guys down the road. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later. Peace. Let me learn how to end a stream.